Are you making the best of the data your company holds? The chances are you're not, especially if you don't merge your databases such as your stock, finance, and sales. Using sophisticated software, though, can reveal nuggets of vital information. Rob Austin from the Data Studio is with me. Rob, I believe this whole area is called business intelligence. What does that exactly mean?
The dictionary definition is the ability for an organisation to take all its capabilities and convert them into knowledge, which means the right information to the right people at the right time. The way I like to describe business intelligence to people is, if we take a sat-nav, for example, however many million roads there may be in the UK, the amount of distance that is in each road, so how long the road is, whether it's got a roundabout at the end of it, whether it's got traffic lights joining it. Then you've got things like the speed limit that's there. Another data source, you've got the GPS, so actually where you are at that point in time. So you've got all this huge amount of data that is crunched down, so when you tell your sat-nav a destination, it'll simply say, in 100 yards, turn left. And that, to me, is what we try and do within a business. We try and take all that information, crunch it down, and turn it into something that's usable for the end user.
And the end user typically would be who?
Anybody in the organisation. Whereas historically you've got the managers and the directors who would hold all the information and they'd make all the decisions for everybody all of the time. Now we try and filter that down a little bit so that everybody has access to that information. It's not just the manager making all the decisions, telling people what they should be doing and when. People are making their own decisions within the company based upon the data. That's where business intelligence really comes from. It's not just for a company, it could be for universities, anybody who holds an amount of data that can be used.
So most people have a sales database where they keep track of the sales. They'll certainly have an accountancy database where they keep track of the money coming in. And maybe they're in product manufacturer or distribution or something like that. They'll have a distribution database. Does business intelligence bring these databases together somehow?
Yeah, at the Data Studio, we use primarily a package called Tableau. That can bring in data from multiple sources. And you might have an Access database, you might have your sales data in a SQL database, and you might have your forecasts on a spreadsheet. And what we do is we bring that all into one place and we give the end user the ability to see all of the information, not just from their own department, but from other departments that might be relevant to them. So it helps them make decisions on a daily basis and makes their jobs a bit easier.
In a timely fashion.
Absolutely. That is a big part of it. What we tend to find is it reduces mistakes. It's not just about speeding things up, it's about making it more efficient by reducing the number of errors that occur on a daily basis.
Now, talking about that, I went through my database, which is a spreadsheet of contacts that we've had on the program, and I noticed that sometimes I have the postcode right in one way and I've got no gap between certain bits. Sometimes it's uppercase and lowercase, depending how lazy I was with the shift key. Sometimes I've got a mobile phone number, sometimes I haven't. I mean, that's just my database. I'm guessing when you're dealing with huge databases, as your company probably does, is that a real issue to finding out the nuggets of information from business intelligence?
Absolutely. One of the first things we do when we go into a company is look at their data, and usually the first job is data cleansing.
What does that mean?
Data cleansing, cleaning up the postcodes so that they're in a similar format, removing spaces from the front or the end of the data, which may then look different to any system trying to interrogate it. There's automated ways you can clean the data, but sometimes it can be a manual process of just looking at the outliers and saying, is there a reason for that? Should that be there? Is that correct?
So this is data that's quantifiable data, not necessarily just postcodes. So you said outliers. What do you mean by that?
Often what we'll use as an initial tool is a scatter plot. You'll put all your data on two axes. One could be profit, one could be sales. You'll look at everything on those axes. Where you've got something that's an outlier one way, maybe it's error. Maybe someone's put a 0 in the sales column by mistake and it shouldn't be. Maybe alternatively, it actually is a 0. So as soon as you put it on a scatter plot, you'll start to see outliers, whether they be problems or whether they be really good things. Profitable customer could well be on there, and you'll see that, and you'll see who they are, and they may not be the company you'd expect them to be as well. So it's very interesting to start delving through the data and make those initial cleaning stages.
Yeah, I bet. Now, is business intelligence through the databases a thing for small companies, medium or large? Where does it fit?
It fits throughout. So anyone who has a lot of data, they're probably already doing an amount of business intelligence, whether they're aware of it or not. But what we tend to find is things like sales projections, and especially if the salesmen are commission-based, they'll already be looking at that data. But they may be looking at it in a way which requires a report to be run. Another example, the business owner has a grasp of their accounts, so they'll be running a report to have a look at their quarterly accounts, for example. What we try and do as a business intelligence company is make all of that data live, first and foremost, but then present it in a way which is really useful.
What do you mean live?
I mean, when you sell a widget, it's going to pop into the database, it's going to knock one off of the stock system, but it's going to show everybody who may be concerned a sale has been made. We'd go a little step further, talking about stock control. Let's say we had an order come in for a month's time. The guy in the stockroom, he's going to need to know that, because maybe he needs to take on more staff to handle that stock. Maybe he's going to need to make his order bigger. So there's a lot of forecasting involved that can be done to actually make the business more efficient. And that's all using this business intelligence principles.
Thank you, Rob. We've put Rob's details and that of the Data Studio up on our website, letstalkbusinessonline.com.